record a video last minute. Oh my god, I would never do such a thing. Anyway, hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the journey of discovery of self, of other, and of realms beyond space and time. My name is Adrian, and I will be your guide. Today, I'm going to be reacting to some autism memes, because that's fun, right? Any other autistic people physically not able to handle embarrassment humor? When I tell you, it is extremely painful for me to watch that kind of content where like someone is being embarrassed on camera for fun. Like, it just, like, I cannot not put myself into that position of the person like being embarrassed, and I feel like it's just no. Okay, I can't do it. Me thinking that I'm masking so well that no one can tell I'm overstimulated. Like, I'm pretty sure that most of the time I just kind of look like, but like, I know there's gotta be times because, like, God, especially when I like agree to go to something with a friend and like it ends up involving being around other people, I really am just better like one-on-one with a friend. You get more people involved and suddenly I don't know how to act. And if you put me like in a situation with a bunch of people, I'm probably going to start regretting my decision to go anywhere, and that kind of shutdown is probably visible on some level, because I'm pretty sure I go from seeming fine to like the moment of like, I regret every single life decision that I have made up until this moment that has brought me here. I want to go home right now. But you can't in the middle of a social gathering or whatever you're doing, because like it's gonna seem very rude if suddenly you're just like, I gotta go. And it's like y'all just like drove an hour to this place and it's only been 10 minutes. Like, no. So I'm pretty sure what happens is I just look like being autistic is repeating the exact thing you mean over and over very clearly, while the people around you make a game out of seeing how much they can misunderstand you. That just sounds like the story of my life. I don't really have anything to say about that. I'm gonna go cry now. Just kidding. Neurodivergent people tend to move in packs like poorly emotionally regulated wolves. So if all your friends have ADHD, I have some news for you. Dude, like, I'm telling you, it's like when I look back at my life and I realize, okay, like middle school, I made like one actual friend, like one person who was legitimately my friend all of middle school. ADHD. Why did it work so well? Like, because both of our minds go all over the place and our conversations just like are just whatever. And then also is like really easy for me to talk to her because she talks a lot. Like a lot. Like I don't really talk a lot, so it's like really nice when someone does most of the work for me in conversation. But also like the way that our brains work in the same way where we like connect all these different things and we're just like jumping all around, like it just works. And it's like I look back and I'm like, well, what is the difference here? With later down the line, like I realized like there are people that like I think that I got close to them and that I can start basically unmasking, since I had no idea that I was autistic for most of my life. I didn't have any of this context, right? So I'm just kind of like, I realize that like some people think that I'm close to you, and like I think I can start being myself, unmasking, and it's like, oh, I can't. But then I'm like, what's the difference? So I just had to get close enough to these people, like when they like me and understand me, and then it's okay for me to be more of myself. But that's not really the case. Like the only reason that it was okay with like my high school best friend, for instance, is because she also has ADHD. So it's like those things are random outbursts, and like the way that I like to just randomly yell something when I walked into a room, or the way that I'm like regurgitating Vine videos and randomly just doing weird movements or something. It's because my friend was pretty much the same. And then like down the line, when I end up like dating a neurotypical person, and like suddenly realize like, oh, they actually kind of hate everything about me. Why did I never like run into this problem in this way before? It's because my friends were neurodivergent. Telling people I'm autistic and being judged because of their misconception about autism, or not telling people I'm autistic and being judged for my awkwardness. Well, you know, I experienced the latter for the majority of my life because I didn't know that I was autistic. So I've gotten plenty of comments about how socially awkward I am. It is what it is, I guess. Being autistic with ADHD enables you to be burnt out and bored out at the same time. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's actually, honestly, really painful. It's really painful. Oh my god. Burnout's kind of like, also for me, I feel like I've experienced that in a very kind of like dissociated kind of way. So I guess it's kind of like I'm not entirely there anymore. Like I just am entirely shut down. But then like, have you ever been so painfully bored that you just have no idea what to do with yourself? It's like, oh my god, I don't feel like I get that too much anymore. I'm not really sure what I'm doing differently with my life to not experience that as often, but when I was younger and like in high school, I would get those moments where I would be like, oh, I know what happened. I became severely addicted to my phone and just distract myself. And that's what I do. But like when I was younger, like I would get these moments where I'm just like, nothing is working. TV is not doing it for me today. Like I don't have anything to do. Like I start doing just trying to do something different. Like I would just lay backwards in my bed or something because I'm like, maybe if I like switch my position I'll feel better. But it's like nothing ever worked. It's like you just want to like crawl out of your own skin because you're like, what? It's bizarre. Painful boredom is not a fun time. Autistic people talking to neurotypicals, it's not my fault I can't interpret your emotional Morse code. Okay, but really though, first of all, I'm obsessed with Wednesday. I've seen that show so many times. I need the next season yesterday, to be honest. Yesterday, alright? My god, but I just actually had this thought earlier today. I made a TikTok about this where like I talked about how like I dated this girl and like, okay, because with me it's not necessarily like I can't understand what you're doing. It's like I just don't understand why you're doing it. Like I dated this girl and she was trying to make me jealous. She was trying to make me jealous and I knew that, but I just like, I'm kind of like, what do you want me to say to that? So I'm pretty sure like I was just very kind of like blank expression because my mind is just trying to wrap my head around like, why don't you just say what's on your mind, say what you're thinking? Like I'm pretty sure there's a better way for me to meet your need, and I don't want to play this weird game with you right now because it doesn't make any sense. But it's like I feel like that happens a lot, like with anything where like I can tell that someone is like trying to get a certain response out of me, but I don't know how to give what they want. But it's like I can tell they're wanting something specific, but I can't do it. I can't put on that performance, and then I just kind of end up being like, and then I just make people so mad. I don't know what you want from me. I can't do it. Y'all be like, I would never bully somebody for being autistic, and then bully people for being picky eaters and not getting jokes and not understanding sarcasm and being socially awkward and not liking to be touched and fidgeting a lot and having cringy interest and having meltdowns and yeah. Yeah. And that's why my entire personality is fake and a trauma response. And I low-key still don't know who I am. So fun. I would never. Liar. You're lying. But I just gotta say, like, one of the worst things growing up is, like, I am one of those people that does not like to be touched. No, like, don't randomly touch me. Like, and my family especially had fun with that one, and like also, and would also get mad at me. Like when I didn't, like when my little sister would touch me, because I would get really upset. Because I have sensory issues. Like I don't like it, and then I also have this thing like where if something like, I don't know, like if something were to touch like my left shoulder, I'm like, I need to also, like I need it also on the other side. It's uneven. And that makes me angry. But like I really don't like when someone touches me out of nowhere. I hate it. And it's like, oh my god, and even still like in work, when I worked in a grocery store, and like sometimes random strangers would like put their hand on my shoulder, it's like I could still feel it for like several minutes after the fact. And I'm like, how do I get it off? Like, get it off. Get it off of me. And then like my mom used to think it was so hilarious because like my neck is really sensitive and like it tickles. Like if someone tries to touch my neck, I'm immediately no. And like everybody just thought it was so funny, and I'm like, I'm ready to fight. That was like my actual response. Anyway, but I mean, that's basically why I'm afraid to do anything and like answer people's questions, why I'm afraid to like, I don't even like playing games, like anything that requires me to do something where like I have to think of something like on the spot, or like if I have to do some sort of actions, anything that I've never done before and don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to avoid it. Because it's like I was immediately traumatized anytime anyone ever laughed at me for something I said or did. Like that immediately was internalized, and I'm like, I can never do this thing ever again. And it made me afraid of everything, basically. So pretty much I just became the type of person that's like just gonna avoid everything, because if I just don't involve myself in anything, no one ever has the chance to make fun of me. So, and I feel like that's another reason why like my autism went unnoticed, because like I just was so to myself. Like I just like here's me, and I just like stuffed myself down and pretty much try to go about the world like I don't really exist. If no one can see me, no one can hurt me. So, as a child, were you the I'm an alien and I don't understand human things neurodivergent, or the I'm not supposed to be here and I'm actually supposed to get whisked away to another world where I'm the chosen one neurodivergent? I'm gonna say the second one for sure, because I definitely was like entirely convinced that I was not gonna have to make it to adulthood, because I was like something like the world was just gonna end and I was gonna be like taken away somewhere else and I wouldn't have to deal with any of it. Like I really convinced myself of that. Swear to God. I don't use autism as an excuse, I use it as an explanation. Again, a story of my life. Except like I didn't really have the context of autism. Like I just like, without knowing that I'm autistic, would try to like explain to my mother why I am the way that I am. And it's just seen as like, you're always making excuses and like, you're just lazy and like a POS and just need to just do things. And I'm like trying to explain literally my nerve divergence. Like I'm literally would be describing autistic traits with not knowing what autism is, and like ADHD traits with not knowing what it is. And I'm like, I'm trying to understand too why, like, I understand that to you this is really easy and straightforward, but to me it's not. And I'm trying to express to you that I'm actually having a really hard time and you're not getting it. You're just invalidating my feelings. And that's why I don't talk about my emotions with my family, because all they do is invalidate me. So, what do you call someone that overshares insanely but is also extremely private at the same time? Because it's me. Yeah. And you know what's really interesting is I feel like to other people, like the simplest things, to me, I'm like, that is so personal. Why would you ask me that? I'm not answering. But then also, like, I, in high school, always was oversharing on Twitter. Just like, it's like, oh my God. Like, I don't even want to see like the kind of stuff that I used to tweet. It's just like me just in a depressive episode, just saying things. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. It's like I don't like to share anything about myself, but then also it's like when people ask me things, it's like I really don't like lying, right? So like if my mind's a little dark, it's gonna come out, you know? I don't know what to tell you. Me and full-on sensory overload surrounded by neurotypicals who have no idea how to help. Like, not even necessarily always neurotypicals that I'm surrounded by, but just like in general. Because like I said, I'm pretty sure that I made a lot of friends who are neurodivergent. Not a lot. I've never had a lot of friends, but I mean like the like actual close friends that I've had were majority neurodivergent also. Everyone that I hung out with is better at being in social situations, so it's like I do usually hit this moment where I'm like, this is too much, but I just hold it in because I don't know how to express that to people. And like I said, I didn't know that I was autistic my entire life, so like I really didn't have that context at all. I just knew that I know that other people are having a good time right now, and I should also be having a good time right now. But I'm actually want to go home, but I just gotta tough it out. So I just kind of like, it's time to disassociate. So I just kind of am there like, and internally I'm like having the worst time of my life. The neurodivergent urge to over-explain myself during misunderstandings to try to avoid further misunderstanding, but then confusing people in the process, which does in fact cause, you guessed it, more misunderstanding. Yeah. Again, this is just one of those things, like, that is my life story. And I don't have much to say other than it really sucks. It really sucks. Sorry I didn't respond to your text. I was trying to figure out how a normal person would respond and then just gave up. I cannot tell you the amount of times where, like, I would talk to new people and just, oh my god, like, there's just so many people where, like, a lot of the times I can't actually figure out what you're saying in a text message. I mean, honestly, still to this day with my friends, I'm like, sometimes, I really have to sit there and really figure out what you're saying and what I need to say back. And it's actually very stressful for me because it's like I want to ask you, like, what do you mean, or like for clarification so I know how to respond, but I'm terrified of doing that. Like, I'm like, even like at this point in my life where like other people know that I'm autistic, my friends know, right? But it still feels impossible for me to admit that, like, I don't know what to say right now, or like I don't know what you're saying right now. I still feel like I need to figure this out by myself to save myself embarrassment. And I don't know. It's hard. It's still hard. Autistics. I should start being open about my needs. Dramatic, spoiled, rude, weird, annoying. Never again. Yeah. I still need a lot of work with that one. I mean, I haven't really had any practice because honestly, I am not socializing with other people really much at all these days. Very, very little social interaction these days. So I haven't had any practice in this area lately, but definitely in past relationships, my ability to express my needs is lacking because I know that it's actually overwhelming to people. So I just act like I don't actually have needs. We're working on that, but like I said, I didn't get a diagnosis as a child of any neurodivergence, ADHD or autism. I didn't know. I didn't have this context. Like, I didn't understand that about myself. And the way that I basically coped my entire life is just like masking. Just masking. Just very intense masking my entire life. And it's been really exhausting. And, just not something that's easily undone overnight. So we're learning, and it's a work in progress of understanding that about myself and not believing what everybody else around me told me growing up about who I was as a person, because they didn't understand me and what I was going through. Again, it's a lot. I don't know, this was supposed to be fun, but I feel like I'm making it really sad with all of these. I don't know. Them, what's your dream job? Me. I'd like to simply not participate in society. Yes. Yeah. This isn't working for me. We gotta build a new one, because this is not cutting it. I'm not doing it. Me experiencing sensory overload, but also not wanting to bother anyone. I'm fine. I'm not fine. I'm not okay. Send help, please. I'm dying on the inside. Help. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I'm good. I'm great. I'm excellent. That was so abrupt because I forgot to end this video. So I'm recording this to tell you that that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video.